Welcome back to Chicagolandians, a casual Chicago sports podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Cunningham, joined by my co-host, Conor Cunningham.
We're two brothers from the Chicagoland area talking about the latest and greatest in Chicago sports news. In today's episode, we're joined by two more members of the Cunningham household to discuss the Justin Fields trade, Caleb Williams' pro day, and the highs and lows of being a lifelong Bears fan.
Welcome back to another episode of the Chicagolandians. That's right, guys. We have finally come up with a name for this podcast. I'm your host, Patrick Cunningham. I'm joined by my co-host, Conor Cunningham.
Hello.
And two very, very special guests today. I'm joined by two other members of my family, and two great older brothers, Mike Cunningham.
Hey, yo.
And John Cunningham.
Hello.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Would you guys mind giving yourselves, John, I'll start with you, giving yourselves a quick intro, who you are, your Bears, relationship with the Bears, and then Mike, we'll go to you.
Wow. I'm John, the oldest sibling of the Cunningham family. So the first entry, who's not our dad, into kind of the long, sad legacy of Bears fandom. I live in New York, so I'm kind of like an East Coast elite kind of guy.
Here we go. That's true.
And I guess that's it. I'm here and I'm ready to party. Bears style.
Hell yeah.
Hey
world. Hey all of our listeners. I'm Mike, the middle brother. Been a Bears fan for 32 years now. Still out in the Chicago suburbs, so holding down the fort for us Chicagolandians right now. And I am the last member of our family to attend a Chicago Bears playoff game. So I think my opinion goes a long way in that regard.
Wow. The most recent member to attend a playoff game. Is that what you mean?
Correct.
Because I've never been to a Bears playoff game. Okay. Brag.
I mean, or maybe just the only member, but I didn't want to throw that out there.
Well, to be seen. I think next year we might be all going to the Super Bowl.
That's true.
We can all buy tickets together.
Yeah, I bought the tickets already.
Got it tattooed on my butt already.
Baby.
One way.
Okay, so to get started, I think no better place to start. Since recording last episode, we talked about Bears still had not made a move on Justin Fields yet. I think practically the second we hit pause on the recording button, what do we find? Bears trade Justin Fields. Bears trade Justin Fields, mega explosion in maybe the most lackluster, soft-boiled egg trade. We trade to the Steelers for a 6th round pick, which, if you read the fine print, could potentially become a 4th round pick. Ooh. If Justin Fields starts, I think, the majority of the season where he's competing against
51%.
51%, where he's competing against other old 36-year-old Russell Wilson, who recently got a buzz cut.
Oh, so did he? I didn't know that.
We'll see how.
Good for him.
Yeah. So we'll see how
that's dangerous.
That shapes out. For some context about Fields, to show you the value we got. In 2021, we traded up 9 spots to draft Justin Fields at the number 11. We gave the Giants our 2021 first and a 5th. And then we also, I didn't know this, we gave up our 2022 2nd and 4th round pick. And the Bears took that value, balled it up, and then turned it into
right to Toilet Town
pick.
Yeah. Inflation kind of makes it even out.
Yeah,
right.
It does.
In this economy,
time value of a pick, everyone knows.
So I'll turn it over to you guys. What are your guys's? Maybe we want to start with Conor first. Initial read of the Fields trade. Happy, sad, happy to have the nightmare over. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, definitely came right after the pod. So I'm glad Paul's kind of waited to hear our opinion on the situation before, making a decision there. But I think overall, nice to hear that there's a conclusion to the story. I saw Kyle Long kind of was coming out with this new opinion of keeping Fields throughout the offseason, trading him to a team that deals with an injury. I feel like that would have been a nightmare throughout the offseason, always having Justin Fields, comparisons to Caleb Williams, one guy having a better throw in camp, one guy having a better day. Am I happy we got a 6th round pick for him? No, I'm not happy, especially when Mel Kiper said that we could get an 8th overall pick from the Falcons at the beginning of the year. It's, not great. I feel like the rug was pulled out from under me, but it's okay. I'm glad it's over. Feel bad for Justin Fields, especially he's on vacation right now. He's in Milan, so it's tough to kind of get that news that you're going to Pittsburgh. But you know what? Glad it's over.
Yeah, I wonder if he knows yet. Yeah, maybe we should
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think the news has kind of reached there yet. I think
the carrier
the
pigeon's
internet's
still
pretty slow in Milan.
Yeah, a little, happy it's over. This has been as soon as the Bears. I mean, it's not even as soon as the Bears got the first pick. As soon as the Bears traded the pick to the Panthers last year and the possibility of us getting Caleb Williams came up. So this is more than a year. The conversation has been Caleb or Justin. And I've been well documented. I've been in the Caleb camp for a long time now. So I'm just glad it's over. Even if Connor, like you said, whatever, we could have held on to him, maybe got more value at the beginning of the season. We saw what happened when Justin came in. His rookie year was like, he's going to sit. He's getting 20% of the starter snaps in training camp because we had whatever corpse of a, quarterback getting the starting reps.
Hey, Red Rifle, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Andy
Dalton.
So now we don't have to deal with that. Caleb's going to get first team reps all the way through. There's no excuses. It's Caleb all the way. Let's ride, baby.
John, any quick reaction? Any reactions, takes on the trade?
Relief. Even though I am in New York, I listen to sports talk radio, Chicago, like every day. And I was so sick of hearing local jabronis call in to talk about the necessity of keeping Justin Fields and whatever things we could do in the draft to put this team together. So I'm just happy it's over. It sucks that we got this crappy draft pick for him, but like Mike said, let's get on with it. Let's roll. I am happy that Caleb is here, Caleb is not here. I'm happy that the stage has been set for Caleb. Yeah. But Mike, I'm going to have to check those receipts. You say that you've been in Caleb camp for a long time. Relatives of mine will know that basically week by week, I switched camps. I think Connor was kind of similar, went from Team Justin to Team anyone but Justin. So I am by no means a consistent fan of Williams, but yeah, I'm ready for some change.
I was all Justin all day at the beginning of last season, and then after like 5 weeks, I'd seen enough. And maybe I flip-flopped a little bit in those last games, but too little, too late, baby. JoJo said it best. You're just a little too late.
I think the biggest thing in the end, which I think not a lot of people from the outside that aren't Bears fans see, Justin Fields in the fourth quarter is atrocious. I think maybe the worst fourth quarter quarterback in the NFL.
The best quarterback in the NFL.
Which I think stats don't tell you. I think everyone just looks at the stats, compares him to Lamar, sees him as such a unique threat. And I think that's the most frustrating thing about keeping Fields is hearing everyone say how lucky the Bears are to have Fields, how we're not using him, how we're wasting him. Listening to Chase Daniels, listening to
he throws for 180 yards a game. What stats are they looking at?
I think his rushing yards mostly. His rushing yards, I think his passing touchdowns compared to other quarterbacks like Lamar. It's just, I'm just glad for the narrative to be over. And especially thinking about the potential for Justin Fields and Caleb Williams on the same team, a la Nick Foles and Mitch Trubisky on the same team. We don't know who's going to start. That's a dark age of Chicago Bears that I
just think
it's a change.
Fields
a change
could
in
offer some
direction.
really sage wisdom.
That's true.
Yeah, I think it helps that the quarterback, the bridge quarterback, has had past NFL success. So I think that's Fields is in an interesting situation there, just kind of lacking the success. So I think that was bad. But I think it was frustrating. I've recently started following Clay Harbor's. He's kind of entrenched in the Pittsburgh quarterback room now, arguing why Justin Fields should get the start over Russell Wilson. So it seems like he's really kind of hitched his horse to this Justin Fields train.
Now this is
he's all
really
this is Clay Harbor of the Bachelorette fame.
Dangerous is not going to like that.
Yes, correct.
Sorry, just
oh wow.
Sorry, I want to bring that up. Sorry, not enough people talk about that.
This guy's not on my radar.
I challenge Keyshawn Johnson, Robert Griffin, Clay Harbor. I challenge how many fourth quarter games of the Bears they're watching. I challenge them. There's no way they were watching that Vikings game.
How many games have we watched? Just okay, Justin. Let's do it. First play, fumble. Second play, interception.
Well, it was like a couple of years ago. The Vikings weren't very good. Kirk Cousins threw for like 10,000 yards. And the narrative was, oh, they're always down, they're always losing. So in the fourth quarter, he's just throwing the ball all over the place. Everyone's playing prevent defense. Bears they were in that same situation the past 3 years, and yet we still get 125 yards a game of passing. So something doesn't add up.
Yeah, down 40, that fourth quarter defense kind of locks down on Justin, kind of tightens up. Hey, you know who else was a 6th-round pick? Tom Brady. So how about that?
That's true. That guy?
Yeah.
Albert Einstein.
And those machines, you know them now as computers.
Okay, well, I think that is a good transition to move on to the next 1-2 punch of the Justin Fields trade. We kind of talked about it. Opens the door, sets the table, lays down the red carpet for Mr. Caleb Williams, who on March 20th had his pro day at USC. Caleb Williams famously did not participate in the NFL Combine, didn't do medical testing, didn't throw at all. Seemingly, I feel like there's a lot of debate about the reasons. Decision he's made by his family. Basically, he's already the first pick. Why does he have to do the tests? Would only hurt his draft stock, which I think is kind of lame and wimpy. But still, it was nice to see him throw.
Okay.
I mean, he constantly talks about himself being, he knows he's going to be the number 1 pick. And I think, well, if you're confident enough, just show out. But regardless, it was still nice to see his pro day. At his pro day, he was a very consistent passer. I don't think had a single throw where he was throwing on the run. Made every throw on base. Simple, easy throws. Still had some long balls, some impressive throws, but not the typical Caleb Williams, like highlight plays that you see. I think because the narrative is typically like Caleb Williams plays a lot of hero ball and is always making those crazy plays where he could have taken the easier route. So I think just showing everyone that, hey, he can be a normal quarterback, he can be a pocket passer, was nice to see. Other highlights, we saw Bears really showed out. I think practically every NFL team was at his pro day, but the Bears really had a great showing. Ryan Poles was there, Eberflus. We had Keenan Allen swagged out in Bears gear head to toe. Looked like he had like an 80% off deal on NFL.com and just went to town.
He fell into a barrel of some Bears gear.
Yeah, nothing too starstruck about the pro day, but I'd love to hear your guys' takes, yays or nays, things you would have liked to see, maybe not. John, I know you just started watching. Today you focused a little on Caleb Williams highlights. This is maybe opening the floor to general opinions about Caleb Williams. Thoughts, likes or dislikes?
Can I? So I can give general opinions, not just related to pro day, because I watched pro day highlights about an hour ago and they looked pretty good, but I don't know if I had much to say about them.
Yeah, tell us how you feel.
Okay. This is the first day that I have watched Caleb Williams actually do anything. So I watched, getting ready for the show.
Okay, here we go.
A true meatball fan. A true meatball fan.
So, here we go. Real informed opinion coming.
Did you just discover that he paints his nails too?
The nails. So I wrote some things, just some notes that I made in comparison to our boy Justin Fields, watching some highlights of Caleb Williams. Holy smokes, does that guy get rid of the ball fast? That's just in, zip, zap, zoop, right out of that hand to an open receiver. 2, a lot of highlights throwing across his body. Holy cow, does that guy have a strong arm? And something that Justin Fields never did, hit receivers in stride. I feel like every throw from Fields, hitting the guy flat-footed behind him. Every throw in this highlight reel, Williams hitting guys in stride. So that's my my 3 dumb little picks on Caleb Williams. He looked, as soon as I saw him throw, I was like, oh man. Justin who? Caleb Fields. Caleb Williams.
Wow, imagine a quarterback like Caleb Fields. Runs like Justin, throws like Caleb. Whoa. I took a look at the highlights of the pro day. Seemed like everything, kind of went off as planned. I think only 4 of 50 throws hit the ground, which sounds
high
good.
Completion percentage.
He's not throwing against any defense, so that seems pretty good. I saw that 70-yard bomb to Jerry Rice's son. That looked pretty sweet. I didn't love in the interview that he said he hadn't thought about when he's going to come to House Hall at all, about, to meet with the Bears, anything like that. It doesn't concern me or anything. It's just it's a little odd. I think the national media is looking for anything to just kind of clown the Bears with. So don't love that, because someone's probably going to, RG3 is probably chomping at the bit to say something about that. But yeah, no, I'm excited for Caleb. John, like you said, super strong arm, really quick release, makes just highlight plays all over the field. People say he wasn't playing good against top defenses. I think there's a lot of issues at USC that were kind of causing that. Offensive line playing down because of the defense, et cetera, et cetera.
I feel like I won't be able to put a whole lot of emphasis or, new analysis. I know people say a lot of hero ball from last year, playing down a lot, but I think overall, I've liked what I've seen from Caleb. I say in his interviews sometimes I feel like he can be a little frustrating to listen to. Maybe it's just like his personality as a whole, but sometimes it sounds like he's a little like, I don't know, uninterested or unenthusiastic about the Bears idea. It was tough. His first kind of like spiel was talking about how the Bears have good weapons. He said he won 6 games, but I think overall he's in a good position. I like what he's doing. John, I thought that was funny that you said you started watching Caleb Williams tape today. But I think overall, I feel excited about him. Yeah, I think his arm talent is like the biggest thing. I feel like there's a lot of really good throws where he kind of just flicks the ball down the field like effortlessly, especially with like some serious touch on it. And yeah, I know people, a lot of hero ball. Obviously, they didn't have any Notre Dame like pass rushers at his pro day. They didn't have any like guys from Notre Dame rushing at him. Overall, I don't have a lot of concerns, and I think I feel ready for Caleb to be hear his name called on the draft.
I guess I find it interesting that all the jabroni meatballs keep bringing up the ND game, but then seem to forget about Justin's
every Justin
game or anything like that. Like, everyone has bad games. Now that was a real bad one on national TV, but come on, one game.
No, I agree. And Williams put up, I think, 6 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns the year before against ND. People forget about that, but it's all right.
I think Williams. Now, I do not have research on this, and I'm kind of just speaking. But I thought that ND game, Williams threw 3 or X amount of picks in the first half, and then came back in the second half and did a little better, I think, or didn't throw as many picks.
Went from 3 picks to 0 picks.
I think 0. Yeah, so that's a good decrease.
That's a big decrease
in the number. Did you guys happen to see the Robert Griffin take where he said Caleb Williams, this is after we traded Justin Fields and after we had gotten Keenan Allen, he said he should pull an Eli Manning and refuse to be drafted by the Bears. Did you guys see that take?
Did.
You guys are letting RG3 control your lives. He's all over in your headspace right now.
He is. He's living rent free in our heads.
He doesn't have to.
I couldn't imagine a scenario that would make the Bears look more like chumps than Caleb Williams refusing to go to us. That would be maybe one of the most embarrassing things in Bears in a while, I feel like.
There is no real indication that anything like that would happen. This is all supposition. This is all hypothesis. Like everything that they suggested about the pro day when Williams was, doing chalk talk with Lucy and everybody, that he was taking notes, he was fully engaged. Like he seems down. He seems into the fact that he's going to Chicago. Everyone, not only national media, I feel like Chicago media is looking for something to, a hole to poke in what is going on. But I just don't think anything's there. He's going to go to Chicago. He's going to be happy to do it. He's going to bring that Lombardi trophy with him.
Yeah, Lombardi in one hand, deep dish in the other.
I think it's kind of, I think it's pretty widely accepted that RG3 is a bit of a clown. So sorry if I'm, I'm sorry if it's going to hurt your future ESPN
deal. People are signing off right
RG3,
now.
Friend of the pod.
Yeah,
friend of the pod,
RG3 is friend of the pod.
But
Pod is going into the garbage can.
I think everyone knows that he's a bit of a clown. But I mean, I've been reading, several articles, people talk, about this exact thing. And, the fact is that when Eli, said he wasn't going to go to the Chargers or whichever team it was, or just other first round picks in the past, they're going to horrible, situations where Bears right now, they got a lot of weapons, good defense, decent coach. I think we're set up well. Now, I don't mean to cut you off, Pat, or play your role, but this just came up in my head while we were talking about this subject.
No, go ahead.
So maybe I thought I'd take the floor. So Luce is known for his nicknames that he's got for everybody. He's got a nickname for every player. What do we think his nickname will be for Caleb Williams?
God, I watched a video of him going through every player and doing his nicknames. He's really got levels of effort with his names. Like some people are just like,
big guy,
let's go here,
guy.
let's go big guy, let's go crusher, and then
Fast
it's like
man, yeah.
Oh, what would be his nickname? I think he calls himself Superman on Twitter.
Does he?
Maybe Caleb Man. I like that.
K Will.
Maybe like Hollywood, something
Oh,
USC like.
Yeah. Los Angeles focused. Okay. C Will. Something with the Trojans.
I think Hollywood, but that's a real double-edged sword. I feel like there were some callers onto the score this week talking about not liking Williams because he's from Hollyweird.
Because he played 2 seasons at USC.
Yeah, because he's in all the Marvel movies, and he's from DC, Hollywood Central.
I think if listeners do not follow me on Twitter, you should. But this was the first thing that I tweeted on my Twitter account. This was my first tweet.
Wow.
Was responding to this RG3 post that he had. I feel like this offseason has made me notice, kind of opened my eyes to how much the national media dogs Chicago sports in general. It's like real disrespectful. I feel like it's just disrespectful to say something like that to a team that did win had 7 games that they won last year. I know, Mike, you don't like to say it, but like flip of a coin could have had 10 wins, right? I know that's not how football works. I know that's not how football works, right? Good teams win the close games. We won 7 games. That's what we had. But you couldn't say that the Commanders who won, 4 games, the Panthers who won 2 games, or, the Patriots who won 4 games, those aren't better situations that he's walking into. I feel like there's a misnomer where teams are labeled as competent or incompetent, often just by how good of the quarterbacks they like stumble into. Like, drafting Brady in the 6th round made the Patriots be an incredible organization for 20 years. And now Patriots look horrible right now, passing off between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, right? Or like the Texans, starting Davis Mills for 3 years or 2 years, right? I have no idea where it's going. And then they get CJ Stroud and suddenly they're, the receiving core of Tank Dell and Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz was, writing was on the wall that was a top 5 receiving core in the NFL. So I feel like it's frustrating, the kind of narrative that's being drawn around the incompetency of the Bears. And yeah, I feel like stuff like that is disrespectful to the organization as a whole. And I think I'm excited for whoever comes in at quarterback. Hopefully it's Williams, but to kind of show something different about Chicago.
I think with the exception of the Bulls in the 90s, the Chicago sports get dogged for as long as I have been a Chicago sports fan. I'm really playing at my old head bona fides, but like when the Sox won the World Series in 05, when the Cubs won in 16, there was something on ESPN that said that Chicago had not won a World Series since like 17 or something. It's like, did you guys not remember that the White Sox won the World Series in 2005? Or, listening to Joe Buck do the World Series. We should get our mom on here to talk about what she thinks of Joe Buck.
She can be a special guest, while we're in Europe.
Yeah, I mean, the arrow is pointing up for Chicago. Like he's going to have a stacked crew, stacked cast of characters to pass the ball to. He should be happy to be coming to Chicago.
Absolutely. This is truly, I think, one of the most exciting times, maybe the most exciting time to be a Bears fan. We got potentially a new stadium coming. We got, most exciting quarterback. We got crazy weapons, crazy capital next year. I think it's a good time. I just wanted to bring up real quick, we're going to transition into our next segment. But one of the things they brought up at his pro day was Caleb Williams' dinner with, I think, Eberflus and Ryan Poles. And I just thought, it's funny to imagine.
Think Flus would be fun to get a burger with?
I think Flus is a guy that would eat with his hands. I think he would be more fun. Maybe he would call me a nickname or something. Kind of break the ice.
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah.
Big guy. Now I thought they went to a club, like an exclusive nightclub.
Club Dub?
No, I thought that the Bears took Williams out to like a fancy nightclub, a place where like Jay-Z and Beyonce have hung out, like the glitterati of Hollywood.
Oh, interesting. This is new news to me.
You might be confused with Club Dub.
You know what? I am confusing that for Matt Nagy's Club Dub. Yeah.
Flus looks like a guy who'd probably ask you if you're going to finish that. He'd take a couple fries off your plate.
Those nuggies.
Yeah.
Okay. We are going to transition into a guest segment highlighting the 2 wonderful guests that we have today. I'd love to hear their memories, good or bad, takes about the old days of the Chicago Bears. I think Connor and I have a very new head perspective of the Bears, especially within the last 5 years. I feel like anything earlier than, honestly, 2016, kind of a blur for me. Honestly, before we had Mitch, it's very hard for me to remember. So I love calling upon Mike and John to hear you guys talk about any highlights of Bears moments that you guys like to talk about. If you guys need talking points, we could talk about the 06-07 Bears, the time the Bears went to the Super Bowl, the time we went to the NFC Championship, lost to the Packers, Lovie Smith, Devin Hester, just in general. Just kind of, this is very open-ended. Love to just be a free-form conversation.
John, I know you've got some specific notes. So how about you jump in?
All right. So I agree with you. I've said this to you guys before. Anything that didn't happen this year or maybe last year just slides off my head, and I cannot remember anything about a season. So when you guys bring up specifics about games, my smack is gobbed. I cannot believe that you can remember, like, Chris Conti, forgot that guy existed until he was written down in the notes. But there are some things that really stick out. So for me, I'm 39. I think the Dave Wannstedt era that's kind of when I remember the Bears, and they were bad, right? That team was consistently crappy. So for me as a little kid, I played Little League football. We would play on Sundays. The game would be over in time for me to go watch the game at noon. And I remember the Bears never being flexed to prime time, never being on at 3 o'clock. They were always on at noon because they went like 5-11 every single year. So it was easy breezy. And that was good, early Bears memory, and listening to Dad complain about this, that, or the other. I do have one specific memory here, which I guess is also from when you before. So in high school, I had this friend named Joe Buffalino. His dad had Bears season tickets. So, every once in a while, he would come into class, come into school, the layer about him, kind of seeming a little more regal, a little more royal. And he would maybe ask somebody if they wanted to go to a Bears game. Oh my goodness. When he asked you to go to a Bears game, incredible. So this was 2001. So I must have been a sophomore in high school. This was before the addition to Soldier Field happened. That happened the next year. So this was the old Soldier Field, the bowl. This was, I think this is the Jim Miller era of the Bears. And also I have the I have the profootballreference.com up here. Okay. So Jim Miller was hurt in this game. So Shane Matthews was the quarterback. This was 2001. Bears were playing the Browns, and it was, I don't remember the specifics of the game, but we were sitting, lower bowl, and then it was the last play of the game, a Hail Mary from Shane Matthews, tipped by somebody. James Allen catches it as time expires. So it's the play you see everyone trying to do, right? Where it's like tip to someone, catch it. And he caught it. And then we go into overtime. And everyone around me, there's people old, young, crying, visibly drunk older guy next to us, shaking hands and, hugging everybody. So we go into overtime. Browns get the ball. They're driving. This scenario might sound familiar to you, but Mike Brown, interception, pick six, game over. It was, I think, and then we would see that more in the future, but the crowd went insane. So I think it was all bleachers. So there weren't like actual seats. So we had these little like butt warmers and with Bears logos on them. I was holding up this Bears logo seat warmer above my head, and a Browns fan punched it out of my hand. That was the vibe going on. They were so mad, but nothing could sully the sweet feeling of that victory. And then the Bears went 13-3 that year under the helm of Jim Miller at quarterback, and then lost in the first round of the playoffs to I think the Eagles. So that was a high school young era Bears memory for me. That was just really fun. Watching a team come from behind, kick ass. Crappy players. Who's Shane Matthews, right? Like, and then make it to the playoffs. So that was a fun.
John, you were at the Justin Fields Browns game, right? That was in Cleveland.
I was going to bring this up earlier. Yeah.
Against the Bears, right?
His first career start.
If the Bears play the Browns this year, John, this upcoming season, do not go. No good will come of it.
Matt Nagy's going to sneak on the field and start head coaching the Bears.
Do you want me to talk about that briefly? Or do you want me to tell the story of going to that game briefly or no?
I was just going to highlight that you just talked about having a very negative experience with Cleveland fans.
Trashiest fans I've ever been around. The Cleveland fans. Oh my God. They wanted to fight us, and we were getting our asses kicked, and they still were staring at us like, they wanted a piece.
Now, I do have some friends who are Browns fans who are very cordial and very nice. Just want to say that, friends of the pod. But I have.
They're not my friends.
Okay, so some early Bears memories. Let's see. I mean, man, I have such vague memories of those times where it was Jim Miller, Cordell Stewart. So really the 05, 06 team was really when I started, like they came into my memory. And man, what an awesome year that was. This is just speaking of Mike Brown, I think he had back-to-back games where he had a pick six to win it. One against
Wow.
the
Wow.
49ers, which is a real back and forth game, and then was it against the Cardinals? So it was a real back and forth game against the Niners, and I believe T.O. was just going off on the Bears. And then to end the game, it was a tipped pass off T.O.'s hands right into Mike Brown's lap, runs it back for a touchdown, and everyone was just joking T.O. So that was awesome. And then, yeah, I mean, just obviously Hester memories are just ingrained into our heads. I know guys, Connor and Pat, we've told you them a billion times, but just anytime the guy touched the ball, it was like, he's going to score, no doubt. And, you know, what people don't talk about as much was even though, you know, all of his return touchdowns were incredible, like outside of that, he still had so many returns that were incredibly highlight worthy that just didn't end up in a touchdown, so they don't show up on like the YouTube videos. It was like anytime the guy touched the ball, it was gonna be like 30. It was gonna be like a 30-yard return. And I mean, flash forward to today's team, where like we're happy when a punt returner catches the ball. Is like those days were just like it was another world. The game that Hester was playing. So my Bears game memory was, like I mentioned earlier, that I went to a playoff game that season, was first round of the playoffs. My friend, actually probably very similar scenario to you, John. My friend had Bears also season tickets, so he had a playoff game. They were playing the Seahawks. It was snowing. We were in the first level. We got to get on that first level. It was like the food was right outside your seats, like you went right up into the upper deck or right into the concourse. It was just right there. It
Wow.
was like VIP access. Game. It was snowing. It was super cold. Really bundled up, but we ended up winning. I think we like crushed them. So it was awesome. That was like Sean Alexander, Seahawks days, and he was like, famously was traded for a defense in The Office by Daryl in one of those early 2000s
He
episodes.
needed help
He
at
needed a
defense.
defense. Needed a defense. But yeah, those are my early. Oh, and then another early Bears memory is because our teams were always so bad. The only time you'd ever see the Bears on any type of highlight was like Adrian Peterson's highlights, where he's trucking like three Bears players, or
Where
just
someone is holding on to the back of his jersey.
yeah, or like you see a cornerback like chasing after a guy and diving at his feet and not tackling him. Like that was when you saw the Bears on ESPN. Never any other time.
Do you guys feel like every time you watch highlights from like 3 years earlier, everyone's pads look enormous, or like that football pads just get smaller and smaller and smaller? That's
Yeah.
my take.
What's the deal with that?
That's just my take. I just kind of have a kooky take on football pads.
Tell it like it is.
They're getting
That's why we
too
brought you on the pod,
they're getting
John.
too
But
small
watching it from the
nowadays.
'90s, it's like holy cow,
Hmm.
they're wearing like Pop Warner pads.
I mean, Mike Allstott had like a neck roll that I swear went above his helmet.
Oh yeah, I mean that's fearsome. Yeah, that's all just fear factor stuff, though. That's intimidation.
That's true. That's true. That's
Yeah,
that's
it's
Joe
Joe Rogan,
Rogan
baby.
Fear Factor era.
Yeah.
That's Joe
Mike
Rogan.
Allstott,
I mean,
famously
yeah,
Chicago
Joliet
guy
Catholic baby.
from Joliet Catholic,
Went to high
IHSA
school
guy.
with our high school coach, Jeff Gombrich.
When you guys talk about Mike Brown, when Eddie Jackson, like he first had his like breakout year, I feel like people were comparing him a lot to Mike Brown. Was it like a similar thing with like I feel like Eddie Jackson had that like Thanksgiving game where he had that pick six. I feel like he was always making these turnovers. He had that run where he had so many like forced fumble recoveries and interceptions. Like was that like what Mike Brown was like, or different entity entirely?
Mike, do you have an opinion?
John, I
I
feel like
can
you're
barely
more the
remember.
well, okay. I was gonna say you're more the Mike Brown head, but
My thought, well,
he,
Mike Brown was a hitter. Mike Brown hit hard.
yeah,
It was plagued by
Mm.
injuries because he was a heavy hitter. So in my mind, he's more of like
Okay.
a brisker kind of guy
Arm Briscoe.
than a weak
mhm.
safety.
I agree with that. I agree with that, and I'll also remember that those were obviously the famous Tampa 2 era defenses with Lovey, and our safeties like Mike Brown and I not sure who our other safety was. They would be playing probably 30 yards off the ball.
40 yards.
Yeah, it was insane. They would always pan back and like, look how far back the safeties are playing. And you like couldn't believe it, but whatever. Then that defense was awesome and they made sweet plays, but it was crazy to see.
I think it's crazy to look at the stats that Lovey had. I mean, I guess it's like good coaches get moved after repeated like losses in the playoffs, but it's crazy to think now the state that the Bears are in that Lovey had, obviously the NFC title and 3 NFC North championships, multiple winning seasons in 9 years, and to get moved like that, it's pretty.
We got rid of him when we were, I think, 10-6 season. I think we got rid of him.
Now we didn't go to the playoffs that year though, so. Which is crazy to think that in the North we went 10-6 and did not make the playoffs. Like, wow.
Yeah, that was a real era in the Bears where it's, hey, playoffs or bust. You're not making the playoffs, you're out. Like
there's a period where we had like the oldest roster in the NFL like every year, so it was almost like win or bust every single year. Yeah, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Bring in John Fox. Bring in Mark Dressman. The professor.
Yeah, the mad scientist.
He has recently found re-employment in the NFL again.
Yeah.
Somebody
is a hot dog vendor.
That's a dad comment.
Sorry, Dad just popped into the room for a second.
Yeah.
Oh, he's out.
Back over.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think that will transition nicely. I think, do you guys have any more memories you guys want to reminisce about? Anything you guys want to mention?
For the sake of this episode of the podcast, maybe I'll save them for another episode.
Okay.
I assume I'm being asked back.
Sorry,
right?
Yeah, those are going to be for behind the paywall.
Yeah. The paybags can see it, but I had one thing I wanted to mention. I think it's great. It's in 2010. I feel like I think I have vague memories of watching this game, the 2010-2011 season of the NFC North Championship. Like, what was that season like? Because that was obviously like Cutler, but then Henne played. But did Cutler go down with an injury, or like I don't really remember that game. Looking at the box score, it seemed like Henne had the majority of the passes that game. So did he not like? What was that championship game like, or what was that season like?
What was our record that year?
Probably 13-3, I think, wasn't it, or was it 11-5?
Yeah, it was the famous like BJ Raji game.
Yeah, we were really good that year. That was when wasn't that when we had the like number 2 offense? Or was that a different year?
I think that was
Pro Football Reference.com.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So when we went,
2012,
you said that was 2010. We went to the.
Again, when we went to the NFC Championship game and lost to the Packers, we were.
Was that the game? So Jay got hurt, right? Yes.
11-5.
Yes, Jay got hurt that game. Yes. Jay
11-5
tweaked his meniscus or something like that, and had to go out. And that was Chad Henne. I don't remember that, but I just remember watching that in my sophomore year apartment with all my friends, and all the meatballs were upset with Jay that he didn't play through that injury, and he was the reason we lost. And that's garbage. I think Jay was one of the toughest quarterbacks you'd see out there. There were numerous times where he just got his head taken off and just get up and keep playing. So for him to go out, I truly believed he couldn't play.
I don't remember the year specifically. I remember the vibe of the year. I was out of the country, but I was watching that game, and it just felt like we did not deserve to go to the Super Bowl. So, and it didn't happen. So I felt like the playoff games, we kind of like got lucky and kept winning, and we met our mate.
Everyone was just waiting for the shoe to drop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was when BJ Raji had that pick 6 and then did his stupid dance in the end zone.
I think it's just crazy to think of the Bears being so close to a championship.
I mean, like John said, while we were in the NFC Championship game, so technically we were close to the Super Bowl, it didn't feel like we were close to the Super Bowl.
Well, so per Wikipedia, we had a first round bye and then won 35-24 against the Seahawks at Soldier Field, and then I think Cutler had 5 touchdowns that game, rushed for 2.
Holy smokes!
And then NFC Championship, NFC Championship playing the.
This is Trail Cam Jay Cutler.
Trail Cam Jay.
This is Pro Bags player Jay Cutler.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. I think to wrap up the episode, you guys have been such a pleasure. But to wrap up the episode, we wanted to do a little Chicago Bears Perfect game.
Ooh.
Chicago Bears quiz,
Now.
one might say.
Is there any winnings? For
Yeah, but is this where the song gets
Is this
queued in?
matchup funny?
Yeah. Boom, boom. Winnings can be discussed off pod. I think the
Interesting.
the details are just it's easier to work out off air.
You guys are already deep enough in the hole from our March Madness bracket. My bookie's going to be talking to you guys.
Let's keep it off the pod. Let's keep it off the pod, bud.
Yeah. I'm going to be wearing cement shoes pretty soon. But, okay, the scoring system of this quiz game. We're going to be keeping it pretty casual. I'm going to keep score. Each question is going to have different point values, or you guys will see. So this is a blurter. So just anyone who gets it first, that's how you get the points. I'm hoping that you guys know these questions, because if you don't, it's going to be embarrassing.
Don't make them too hard.
The first question. The Chicago Bears, famously, their 1985 season, the best Chicago Bears season we've ever had. Who was the one team we lost to?
Dolphins.
Oh, down with the
Good
point.
question.
So
Dan Marino.
Connor and Mike might be time to hang up the shoes, but you're down.
Connor's in this too? I thought it was just the old heads.
I thought it was just old heads.
Nope.
Connor's in this too.
Okay.
Connor is in this place. Yes, I know there's a little smudge on the screen that you scratch off.
All right.
You can see Connor's name, but he's playing. Question 2. In 2002, John, as you mentioned, Soldier Field was renovated. During this time, which university hosted Chicago Bears games?
Olivet.
Oh, I think that was Mike.
I said first. Oh, I think there's a delay.
John, you're on a 10-second delay.
This is the New York delay. Here we go.
John's closer to the Sweden.
I have to get closer to the internet cables. Yeah, this is
Mike with 1, Connor with 0, John with 1.
I guess I got
debatable
to get my head on my butt.
Okay, now this question, this is going to be an asterisk. I would be surprised if you guys know this, but I think it's funny. Okay, so Walter Payton was the 4th Bear in Chicago Bears history to reach 1,000 rushing yards. Do you guys know the first Bear to reach 1,000 rushing yards?
Good luck.
Not Gale Sayers.
no idea. The Galloping Ghost.
Yeah, he never ran for 1,000 yards. Gale Sayers.
Or was he not the first?
We're looking older.
We're looking for the very
Jim-
first.
What's that guy's name?
What about Bert Schubuckle? I'm gonna go Bert Schubuckle.
Yeah, Lefty Johnson.
Red Grant? Not Red Grant. Red Grant? Is that it?
Not Red Grant.
George Helms.
Jim Thorpe.
No. Okay, the answer is Beatty Feathers.
Beatty Feathers!
That's not a
Beatty
real
Feathers played from
name.
1934 to 1940. I thought that was funny. Such an old player
That was
with
real
such
football,
a typical old person name.
Real men play.
Okay.
Beatty? Yeah, Feathers.
And Feathers. Okay, so this next question. Okay, these next categories, we're going to go over stat leaders for each stat. You guys get a point for every player you guys name. Kind of a blurter. Whoever gets them first, we're going to go over the top 10 for each stat.
Sid Luckman.
Okay. So first stat, I'm just going to count them as soon as you guys go. Passing yards.
Sid Luckman.
Connor.
Mitch Trubisky. Jay
Connor. Oh, wait. Okay, pause.
Wait a second. How is this working?
Is it not just the top? We're doing the top
Jay
10.
Cutler. Jim Harbaugh.
Okay, we're going to take a pause. We're going to take a pause.
Jim McMahon.
We're going to take a pause. Okay, we are going to go through each person, and they're going to guess one person.
That sounds good.
That's BS.
And you get eliminated if you don't get one.
Yes, Connor, you have the first guess because you have 0 points. Who's your
Jay
guess?
Cutler.
Yeah, there's 1. Mike, we're going to go next to you.
Sid Luckman.
That is a 1 point. Sid Luckman at number 2. Jay is number 1. John, dishing it over to you.
Eric Kramer.
That's a good one.
Deep cut. Yes. John, number 6. Good guess. Connor, back to you.
Trubisky.
Number 5. That is insane to
That is
think.
crazy.
But
That's
number
Not a
so
good
sad.
sign.
That is sad. Yes. Mike, over to you.
Jim McMahon.
Great. Number 4. Okay, you guys are killing it. John, back to you.
So have we done top 6 now?
I think
You have
3 is
done 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6. You guys are missing 3.
Jim Harbaugh.
Oh, Johnny's came to play.
Is he number 3?
Johnny boy.
Wait.
I guess John Harbaugh.
Wait,
no, it was
what? John, what was your guess?
Jim Harbaugh.
Jim. You guess
John
was Jim.
Harbaugh
Okay,
did not play for the
correct.
Bears.
That's a side point.
Okay. Connor, going to you.
So what are we at now?
So we have guessed the top 6. We were looking for 7
Getting
through
a
10.
little deeper here now.
Oh boy.
I would be surprised if you guys got
Getting a
any of
little
these except
dirtier here.
one of them. Yeah.
Jim Miller.
Already get? No.
Okay.
Sorry. No, Jim
Connor's
Miller's
been
not on the list,
eliminated.
but not on the list.
Uh,
Connor eliminated.
man.
Justin Fields.
Cordell Stewart.
Connor, you're not in. Okay. Cordell Stewart is a no. And some of these players might surprise you with their maybe disappointing passing yards.
Justin Fields.
Well, John, it's John's turn.
John, it is your turn. Maybe you want to
I'm
take.
Yeah,
thinking.
I guess it's take the easy money there.
Maybe some of the
Might surprise you. Oh, Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
Hey, I said that. Can I get a side point for that?
Connor with 4. Connor will give you half of a side point. To be
So I get the point for that round, right?
potentially. Yes. Okay.
Survivor
And
style.
then John, you're good to go. I've been telling points. You get a point for
There's been a
every
mistake.
player you guess.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm not telling you how to run your quiz. I
but-
apologize.
yes. Currently, John has 4 points. Mike has 3 points. Connor has 2 points. Still anyone's game. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Brian
guess 4
Urlacher is known for his ferocious hits and superb. John, you said you guessed 4 quarterbacks.
I guess.
It's okay.
I don't.
Restore hair.
Okay. Brian Urlacher is known for his ferocious hits and superb leadership on the field. And now some other stuff. What college did he go
Arizona.
to?
New
Incorrect.
Mexico.
No, New Mexico.
Mike with the point. Mike with the point.
Did you say it,
Mike,
Mike?
at
I
the
didn't even
point.
hear you.
Oh, I said it.
He said it. He said it loud
It was
and
New
clear.
Mexico, right?
Yes. Okay.
He played safety.
Mike with 4 points. Mike tied it up with John. Connor down 2 points.
John
With
has
2.
5 points right now.
I don't remember when Connor got any points.
Okay. We'll say asterisk 5. We
I
can
have to
go
get.
with
I
what
have to
this
guess
guess is.
so much ahead of you guys because of my internet delay.
Okay. What famous Chicago Bear famously donned the number 96 and
Alex
also
Brown.
famously
Hakeem Hicks.
is best friends with Michael Cunningham?
Alex Brown.
Yeah, John guessed that so far ahead, but yes, that is
should even
John.
count. Yeah, I should get the point since he's my best
People
friend.
who are not watching the YouTube can see me doing the bear claw. Alex Brown batting down a pass. Boom.
The score: John has 5/6 points. Mike has 4. Connor with 2. Now, the thing with these next questions are worth 2 points.
Ooh.
Oh, come on.
Okay, here we go. Fozzie Bear, the renowned Muppets comedian, often seen wearing a pork pie hat and a polka dot necktie, is known for what iconic catchphrase?
Waka waka.
Waka, waka.
Waka.
Yeah.
Connor now has 4
Now,
points.
Connor, you didn't do a
Big
voice
swing,
for
baby.
that. So I don't
Big
know if
swing.
that counts.
Big
Wanga
swing.
wanga.
Waka waka.
Okay.
Waka waka.
Wanga wanga.
Okay.
Hmm.
Which bear, known for his laid-back attitude and love for
Winnie the Pooh.
the bare necessities, is a character in Jungle Book?
Blue.
Blue.
Blue. Blue.
That was John. That was John.
That was John.
Oh my
John.
That
god.
was John.
John now is 7.
Shoot.
This beloved fictional
Winnie
bear
the Pooh.
has a,
Shut up.
has a love, a lust for honey, and ill-fitting shirts. Okay, that's got it. I'm gonna give that got it.
Yes. Ill-fitting shirts.
Oh.
Okay,
Lust for ill-fitting shirts.
Connor, you got to stay silent because I've asked some of these questions to Connor before.
So I'm ineligible to score points?
We'll
Sorry.
figure it out at
We'll
the end
see.
when he tallies the points.
Okay. Ding ding. This Calvin Klein actor is best known for his role in the recent
Jeremy Allen
movie
White.
show The Bear. Boom. Mike or
That
John
was
came over
me.
at 9.
Michael hasn't even watched that
Yeah, I
show.
know. John.
Wow,
Sorry,
let the record
John.
show I'm
9
being muzzled
points.
right now. I can't even answer.
Okay,
Oh,
Connor, you
Connor's
can
in
answer if you're
Priest
fast
jail up
enough.
there.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Just so you know, I am turning it on right now. Flipping the switch.
It was
I am
off?
turning it on. It was off.
This is a more off the top of the head question. This blue-coated, red-headed bear is known for his English accent and his pleasant demeanor.
Paddington.
Paddington the bear, Connor.
He's blue? Where's the blue?
He's got a blue raincoat.
I was thinking Babar, but he's an elephant, so not even close.
Okay, Babar is not on the Bears quiz,
Yeah, no side
unfortunately.
points.
Step up
Okay,
my
so
bear.
John, real quick, we're going to go over, I think, 2 more questions. John currently has 9/10 points. Mike has 4. Connor has 8 points.
geez.
Wow, Mike really ate your
Connor
list
has
here.
8 points? That's a joke,
Connor's
right?
been
Connor has
cleaning
Connor's
up
been
on these
dominating.
I've scored all the bear
points.
questions.
Connor's been dominating on his
Connor
last couple
heard all these
questions.
questions.
Yeah,
Are these worth like 4
They're not
points now?
Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
These are worth 2.
All right.
These
All
each are worth 2. John, you got to be a well-rounded Bears fan. Which actor, known for his role as Kung Fu Panda?
Jack Black.
Jack Black.
Oh, Mike!
I got it.
Mike got
So
it.
far
Mike,
ahead of you guys.
Mike.
This is ridiculous. I should call in Pat. Just call you on the
Mike
phone.
coming in.
All
Are you
right, I'm
serious?
still in
I
it,
was literally
baby.
just like-
I'm
Mike is
still
back
in it.
alive. Mike,
So okay, so this
Undertaker out of the coffin.
This last question's worth 4 points, right? Because so that everyone has a chance to win.
Wow, we had about 3 real Bears questions, and now it's mostly just famous Bears in history, I guess.
Sad.
This final question is worth
That's gonna be
4
so-
points.
Yeah,
It's worth 5
baby.
points. It's
Ridiculous.
5
Yeah,
points.
baby.
We're
Here
gonna
we
cook
go.
up
Worth 100
a
points.
nice. What college did Tyson Bagent go to?
Alabama. Mississippi. West Virginia. West Virginia.
No.
He's from West Virginia.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's from West
Oh.
Virginia.
Oh, don't say it. No,
Give me the letter.
it's 2 words.
It is.
It's a blank university.
Shut up.
The what?
I can't think. I'm trying to think of David Haas saying it, and I can't.
Yeah, give us the first letter.
What was in the famous biblical story David versus Goliath? What was David?
A boy. A shepherd.
What was his
Shepherd
role,
University.
his occupation?
Oh.
Was it Boy
Yeah.
University?
Yeah. I think
It was Boy University, yes. Okay, John comes away with, I'm going to tell you
I think it's 14, 15.
14, 15. Okay, final standings. John 14/15 points. Mike 6. Connor 8 points. That will
Man.
conclude the
Mm.
Bear
I gotta study up on my Bears for next week.
quiz. Yes.
I'll send you my wire transfer
Okay.
information for the victory check.
Okay, awesome. That'll do it for another episode of Chicagolandians. Thank you guys all for listening. And as always, bear down, baby.
Bear down.